It's your boy Diamond Boss back again with another video, and today, as promised, I'll be showcasing you to just some quick dual analysis combos, showcasing obviously the new support that just came out for, Trickstar / Marinces, but mainly it's for Marinces, and it's coming from the Duelist Cup. So there are two duels which I thought I would just want to show you. I've already played some duels already in the Duelist Cup, and so far making some steady progress. But just to give you some insight as to why I believe this the new support makes combos a bit more refreshing, and also you'll be able to understand how to play into certain boards, and especially with that hand knowledge, what you should do in specific matchups. So these two duels I'm going to show you hopefully will give you some insight as to how you should use that knowledge to your advantage. And yeah, if you like it, make sure to leave a like and comment and subscribe if you like this type of video. And let me know if you want to see more. But for now, let's get on to the duels. So we're going to go into Duelist Cup. And you'll see, so currently, as you can see, I'm currently in division level 13. And this is, I actually started at division level 10. Because if you reach the rank the previous season, you get the gems up until a point. So I started actually at division level 10. So I actually just got to 13 now, and currently I am on a 6 win streak at the moment. So it's not too bad. So I just played like an afternoon. You'll see there, nothing too crazy, but yeah, it's been perfectly fine. Nothing too interesting. And enjoyed the matchup, but the last two matchups I thought would be quite interesting, just to show you how I played through some of the stuff, and also just to give you some insight as to what potential combo you could do if that situation comes up for you, if you are playing Marinces specifically. So we're not gonna look at all the duels like in super detail, but just like a quick overview in terms of, because most of the combos you've seen, but it's more about just to see, okay, like when you see an opponent's hand, if you use Aqua Angel's effect to resolve, what exactly is going to happen. So that is kind of the insight I want to hopefully give you, and obviously just to give you some more concept as to say, okay, what is the mindset of my when I'm doing my duels, what am I thinking about all the time, and it's just to share to you some of those insights. So yeah, let me get into the duels right now, and then we can take it from there. So let's go into the first duel. Okay, so as you can see, this is the opening hand that I have in this first replay that I'm going to showcase you guys. So currently, the hand is actually not too bad, because we have, Dive, we have Cross Out, we have Pascalis, we have Seals, and we have Mandarin. So we actually can play through quite a bit of disruption, even if they have potential maxi or whatever. But of course, that would be if they have other hand traps that they play. But we actually have a pretty decent hand to play through a lot. So let's see how the combo is going to go. So obviously, we want to see what hand traps they have first. So of course, they're going to have maxi off the normally Pascalis. We do have Cross Out for that, so that's pretty standard. And I think from here, we hope they don't have any other hand traps, but we're going to obviously find out. Since now we know, okay, maxi is not going to be a problem for us, so we don't have any additional cards. So I'll just summon Mandarin. Then I'm going to go into the combo to try and get Aqua Angel as quick as possible. So that would be getting Blue Slug, adding Black Mandarin, then trying to see if they have an Ash or not. So this is an Ash point number 1. So you check here if they have Ash or Imperm. They don't have. Okay, cool. Then I'm going to play the field spell. Then I'm going to go into Crystal Heart. So why do I go into Crystal Heart? Because I've noticed if I have enough extension, I can actually play through a Nibiru, even if they do try and resolve it. For example, I have Seahorse as an extension, as well as Mandarin, because I didn't use the effects yet. So I'm literally banking on Dive to be either negated, or if I summon the monster, they're going to trigger Nibiru, because at this point I have summoned 5 times. But Crystal Heart will be protected from Nibiru, because while it's in the extra monster zone, it's unaffected by your opponent's monster effects. So I'm protected from Nibiru. But if I resolve Dive, and for some reason they're holding on Nibiru still, it'll clear my monsters. But remember, Seahorse and Mandarin are still gonna be activatable. So either way, I'm still playing through Nib regardless. So I resolve Dive, I get Blue Tang. Blue Tang's going to foolish the Trickstar Aqua Angel, and we're going to use Seahorse's effect to summon itself. Get Core an enemy. Core an enemy is going to revive back the Aqua Angel, but first let's activate off Blue Tang. Get another field spell, that's fine. Then we're going to use the effect to revive back, and now we're going to go into Coral Triangle, but most importantly, we'll look at the opponent's hand. Hopefully we can see in the replay if it does show, but let's just see when it resolves. Opponent is also going to activate as well. Okay, so you can see, so there's the hand. So it shows it very quickly, but luckily you have to catch it in the right time. So you can see, this is the opponent's hand that they're working with. So I'm like, okay, Dark Magician. So they're probably playing Dragoon. They're playing the other Dark Magician, specifically the Shining Sarcophagus one. So that means they're playing Shining Sarc, which I see there. But then I also see they have a Sang and Kaiman. And I'm like, wait. So I can really see what the foresight's going to be. They're going to try and bait me out by trying to resolve the Shining Sarcophagus into adding Gandora. Gandora is going to clear the field, and then it will clear way 4 in the battle phase for Sang and Kaiman. So because I knew that, I'm going to try and make sure that I do not resolve the Shining Sarcophagus, because Shining Sarcophagus is going to resolve to add back a Gandora. So that's going to be a big problem, because if you look at Shining Sarcophagus, it says during the main phase you can add one card that mentions Shining Sarcophagus from your deck to your hand. So it can be a monster, it can be a spell or trap. So obviously going to summon Gandora. Gandora is going to banish the field, it's going to banish the field by destroying everything. So it destroys and banishes, and then you're going to make way for whatever play you want to do afterwards. So when I saw this hand, I'm like, okay, wait, we can actually play around this, because this is actually how we can actually, make sure that we do not let Gandora resolve. And because they already have, no other plays, they obviously want to protect Kaiman from being, negated by something. So we're going to make sure that we try and focus on not resolving Sarcophagus, and hopefully we're praying that they don't draw the Gandora, like hard draw it. So what we're doing now at the moment, our inboard is kind of fine, because why? We're going to be unaffected. We're going to make Argonaut, of course, because we know now they have spell and traps that they want to actually resolve. So we'll see what they want to do, depending on what they draw next turn. But we see now what their hand is. So based on that, I knew, okay, my play is fine. I'm going to add Wave, discard Mandarin. I haven't even used the effect of Mandarin yet. And we've made full combo with the Aqua Angel resolving. And yeah, now we have an unaffected Link Fall in Argonaut. We have a spell trap negate next turn. We have Wave. And just for added measure, because I know we're potentially going into Tempai Dragon, or a combo which may involve monsters going into the battle phase, I did summon Trickstar Aqua Angel behind Argonaut, and because it's behind a Link monster, or it's in front of a Link monster, it's going to be protected from battle. So in a way, Argonaut's protecting Aqua Angel, and Aqua Angel's protecting Argonaut. So this worked out perfectly. So even if they had Nibiru, we literally had full combo still, because like I said, we had Crystal Heart, we had Dive, we also had additional extenders. So even if we did get Ashed or we get Nibiru eventually, we still had enough plays to play through it. So that's why I'm pretty confident in this board based on what they have. So remind you, they have Shining Sarcophagus in their hand, they have the Sang and Kaiman, they have Dark Magician, the normal monster, and then they have the effect monster that becomes Dark Magician when it's on the field because of Shining Sarcophagus. So I don't know what their next draw was, but then I see now, okay, Shining Sarcophagus, is they want to resolve it. I know what they want to do. They want to add Gandora G, so I negate it immediately. Okay, and I summon Coral Enemy next to next to Aqua Angel in case they want to go into battle. They actually got Gadget Trio, which is going to add a spell or trap, which is Ties That Bind, and they'll summon 2 monsters, and they realize, okay, what's going on here? They can't attack. Well, remember, you can only attack Argonaut because that card's in the monster zone, extra monster zone. And even if you could attack, everything cannot be destroyed by battle anyway, so you have to literally kill this card. You have to kill Aqua Angel. But luckily, Argonaut is protecting Aqua Angel, so effectively your monsters are pretty much safe. And you can see now, they had a dead Dark Magician, which is the normal monster, and they had Kaiman. They didn't even bother using it because what are they going to go into? So what is the real play there that they could have done? Because their whole purpose was to get Gandora G, clear the field, and then go from there. But I guess they decided not to use it. Maybe because we knew what their hand was. Maybe to keep it as a surprise. They're like, oh no, let me surprise them with the same Kaiman. But they're like, okay, the gig's kind of up already, so I guess it's fine. So that was like, okay, they just went for the normal play. But now remember, the problem with ties that bind is that once you activate this card, you cannot special summon from the extra deck. So that's kind of the negative. So it makes sense why they didn't go with Kaiman, because obviously Tenpai wants to summon from the extra deck. So if you use this card, you cannot use it. So it makes sense. So was that the right play from the opponent? I'm not too sure. Okay, end phase, they obviously can't do anything. And then we draw for turn. We draw a Cosmic Cyclone. Now this is actually not bad, because there's two problems on the field. Number one, there's a card that negates a spell card because they control Silent Sarcophagus. Then there's another problem in Silent Swordsman 0. When your opponent activates a card or effect that targets Shining Sarcophagus or a monster that mentions it, so any of these you can negate. So the normal play would have been, okay, I use Wave, negate this, or actually use Cosmic Cyclone, chain Silent Sarcophagus to banish it, attempt to banish it. You will negate with Silent Magician 0. I chain Wave, but then obviously you'll chain Silent Swordsman. So that would have been the wrong play to do, because I'll just play into all that disruption, and then I don't have any other real plays. I'm just wasting Wave now for no reason. So I have to play around that. So what I go instead, I'm gonna go use Argonaut's effect, bounce back a water monster and a card of control. He's obviously gonna try and negate that, but I know that my Argonaut's unaffected, so it's gonna resolve. Here we go. So now we've cleared the issue of the spell card negate. Now we've got rid of it, so now I can comfortably use Cosmic Cyclone and banish the Shining Sarcophagus. So you see that chain of sequencing was very important, because if I mess it up, I could have just played into his disruptions, and that would have been a mistake. So can you see the fact that I had to even read to say, okay, wait, he's got what are the potential disruptions on the field? He had spell trap, he had a spell negate, and he had a card that protects from Imperm or Wave or whatever that targets Sarcophagus or any other monster that mentions it. So I had to clear that issue first, and then I was comfortable. So we have full combo basically now. Now the goal now is to try and go for game now. So because Argonaut is unaffected, we obviously can't keep it on the field for long, because we have to clear this field. Otherwise, next turn is going to be a big problem. And we don't want any destruction of these cards, because when they get destroyed, they obviously float into other things. So we want to make sure that we OTK them as far as possible. So how are we going to do that? We're going to go Blue Tang, get Springo, because I haven't got Springo yet. Buy back Mandarin, record an enemy. Go into Marble Rock now. Okay, so this is more of a quicker, condensed version of the OTK. When you have an unaffected Argonaut on the field, you just go with this play. You make sure you have at least two water monsters in your hand, plus Spring Girl. Go into Bubble Reef. And this is a similar thing you would have done for a regular OTK, but the difference now is you have Argonaut there, and we excavate another Marintis Wave, which is nice. So I'll take it. Why not? And Springo's going to banish Marble Rock. Gonna revive back. Bubble Roof's gonna discard a water monster and revive back the Marble Rock. Now we're gonna nick it off away into Zealantis. So note, if you're gonna use Zealantis here, obviously the unaffected set is gonna be gone, because Zealantis resets everything. So now because you're allowed to summon water monsters, everything comes back except for their monsters. So we're gonna rearrange the field and make sure the links are there for the co-links. And then we're gonna go into Blue Slug. And then everyone knows what's gonna happen after this. We pretty much have the full set. So everything is additional. This is already 9.4 on the field in terms of damage. So you didn't have to even equip anything. This is already full lethal already. But of course, you want to go for maximum damage. We attack, and then that's pretty much game. So the takeaway from this duel, for me, is that, okay, yes, you saw what the opponent wanted to do, because now we saw what the hand was. The hand was, hey, they wanted to bait out the disruption to clear the field and then comfortably resolve Sang and Carmen. But once they realized, okay, they looked at the board set and like, oh, actually, it might be a bit tricky. Let me just try and set up a board that they can't really clear through, because obviously they don't know that I can actually board wipe their field. So it was actually important for them, but also they also kind of played it into it because they activated that ties that bind card, which actually shut down, you know, the extra deck. So you can see what the logic they wanted to do, because in the normal setup they would have just used Gandora G, destroy and banish the field, then use come in the battle phase, and then that's GG. But obviously it didn't work out for them. And of course, on the follow-up turn, we played around the disruption, which was obviously the spell negate as well as the targeting protection. So we played around that very well, and then we just cleared it from there. So I think that was a very nice replay, just to showcase. So even though you see what the hand is, you kind of have to anticipate what they want to do, and then you kind of have to say, okay, based on how you're going to react to how they play, what we're going to be doing next. And I didn't expect them to activate that ties that bind. I thought they were going to go straight into battle phase, try and attempt with Tundra, see what happens, but I guess not. But yeah, I guess they saw based on the board state what it was. Remember, we still had a Marine's wave as well, so in any case, we could have negated something in the battle phase in terms of a Chandra anyway. So I think he knew already that was going to be a problem. But yeah, that was the first game. Let's go on to the second game. All right. So this is a bonus clip. So I literally just played this on stream as long as my other duels. But I thought I also just want to share this with you as well, as a more of an in-depth in terms of what my mind was thinking of as I was playing this on stream, because it was literally like on the fly. And the problem with modern Yu-Gi-Oh is nowadays you can learn as much as combos as you can learn. You can look at spreadsheets and whatever, but this is a reminder that sometimes, you know, looking at spreadsheets and stuff doesn't always work in terms of reacting to what's happening on the game set at the moment. And literally you can see based on my hand, it's not that amazing, because I'm going second, number one, and number two, I don't know what my opponent's playing into, but I do see, okay, they're playing a 60 card build, so it's probably a pile deck, which is usually going to have all gas, no breaks. So my initial thought, okay, cool, I got Maxi, I have Dark Ruler, I got a Kaiju, so that at least I have those two boxes to my advantage. So if he does decide to, you know, let Maxi resolve, then it is what it is. But if not, that's also fine too. So let's see how this duel unfolded here. Because the main part is obviously the turn one, but basically he starts with Tiliman Sharon. I activate Maxi. He of course has an Ash, which is, I'm not surprised. I mean, in a 60 card build, he has an Ash. Interesting. And basically he goes full combo. So we're gonna skip it up very quickly. Initially he doesn't get good mills, but the guy just keeps getting luck of the draw, luck of the draw, luck of the draw. Like literally every single play he was making, he was just getting away. And I'm sitting there like, oh damn. I was literally telling my stream, damn, how are we gonna actually survive this? Because literally this is a luck of the mill deck. And if you don't get good mills, like look at that, that mill of Minerva was insane. A Shuffler, Shiren, a Sulliek, and even a Meta Noise, that's just insane. And that is an example, obviously, what this deck can do. Pure gas, no breaks. And it's actually even better. I probably didn't even get like Maxi to resolve, because it probably would just be, from me, maybe it would have been a deck out. But yeah, they went full board. They summoned Lucalos, that's the first negate. They use the Ken and Jen combo as well, which is just insane. You know, they keep going, they don't stop. They make a little knight, and then they banish it, of course. And then they have Horus as well. Now, this is one of the crucial plays that they help me get the advantage. So they first make Zombie Vampire, and Zombie Vampire says that you can attach a material from this card. Each player sends the top 4 cards of their deck to the graveyard. Then any monster that was sent to either graveyard by this effect, you can summon one of them to the field. So I'm like, okay, cool. I could potentially get resources from my side. So right now I don't have any resources. But if you look at what he mills for me, he mills a very crucial card. Yes, he does get Destrudo. He does summon it, and he does also get you know, additional cards. But for me, he gets Aqua Angel in the grave as well as a blue tank. Now that is actually quite useful, because now since I could Mandarin is going to be on the field, I can potentially summon Aqua Angel next turn, which is great, depending on what his board state is. So in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, I want to get rid of Lucalos because that obviously is the main distraction. But other than that, I do have Dark Ruler, so worst case scenario, I will just Dark Ruler the field. And he still combos off into Baron de Fleur. Sends a monster, he sends Fairy Tale Snow, of course, because Fairy Tale Snow is still broken in this game, even though it's limited to 1. I mean, the guy literally had a god tier hand. He mills 7 from his graveyard and even from the field, and he summons the snow. He goes into Curious. Curious sends the Rainbow Bridge. Rainbow Bridge is going to add a field spell, but there's a problem. The problem is that he actually wanted to get Secret Village. It makes sense because Fairy Tale Snow is a spellcaster, and this only works if you, control a spellcaster. So while you control a spellcaster, my opponent, which is me, cannot activate spell cards. So he kind of messed up initially because obviously he's milling so much, but he actually now forgot that his Crystal Beast is in there, as well as the field spell. So obviously now he's got Rainbow Bridge, but now he's got no field spell to search because you have to add the Crystal Beast as well as the field spell. So he has to use a Shuffler, which is ironic because that could have made a difference in the duel, to actually add back the spell, the Secret Village, the Crystal Beast, now to trigger Rainbow Bridge, and now he gets to play Secret Village, and on top of that make a Appaloosa, and then again, just like Fairy Tale Snow, not once per turn, infinitely summon, and it's pretty much a GG from there. But we know this is a meta noise because he added it previously from the graveyard. So you might be thinking this is a crazy end board, right? Like obviously, like how can you beat this board? Well, obviously, unfortunately, I have Dark Ruler no more, but the problem is because Fairy Tale Snow's on the field, I cannot activate Dark Ruler no more. So at the moment, I'm kind of screwed. But fortunately for me, I had a Kaiju. And this Kaiju will be very important because there's a specific window of opportunity where if he does not change Snow to my first reaction of what's happening, then you'll give me an opportunity, okay, to use Dark Ruler. Then by that point, it's too late because remember, Dark Ruler says negate the effects of all special monsters your opponent currently controls, but neither player can activate monster effects in response to this fast activation. So that's a very important clause. So his opportunity basically was either having a toggle, which I'll explain basically what that is. The toggle is basically saying to make sure that your chain effects, it was probably on auto, but it should have been on. Because the moment something happens, it will ask you, do you want to use Snow? Yes or no? So that's what I think what happened here. So now it's my turn now, and I draw Spring Girl, which I'm like, okay, cool, that's great. He only has 4k life points. We know the only card in his hand is a Crystal Beast monster, the Emerald Tortoise. It doesn't really do anything. But the main thing is he's got 2 negates in Appaloosa. He's got a special summon negate of Rukalos. He's got an Omni negate in Baron de Fleur. He's got a continuous floodgate through the snow, enabling the Secret Village. He also has the Flipper Monster face down with the Meta Noise. So you can see that's 2, 3, 4, 5 natural disruptions, and then 6 is obviously the floodgate. So 6 disruptions that could all be turned to 0. So why do I say that? Because you'll see what's gonna happen just now. So obviously main phase, so I literally Kaiju. First thing I do, I Kaiju the field. The moment Kaiju is summoned, he could have Chain Link on, and then the game will ask him, do you want to trigger Snow? Yes or no. He probably had Chain Link on auto, so it did not prompt him to trigger Snow. Because obviously now you're thinking, oh, but now why would he not think about that? Remember, he wasn't thinking about, okay, the floodgate. He was probably thinking, oh, okay, I want to use Fairy Tale Snow in the graveyard, but remember, it will allow me to use spells. So he wants to turn off me having the ability to use spells. So in his best interest, he should have actually used that to actually go through the field at that time. So that, I think, is very important for that. So I Kaiju'd, nothing happened. The window passed, it passed back to me, And then and that's when I knew the game was pretty much over. For him, that is, because once you negate with Dark Ruler no more, all the negates are gone except for Meta Noise, because obviously he still controls the Telement monster. So the only thing he can do is fuse away, but then he makes a second mistake. So the first mistake he makes was he doesn't have the opportunity to summon back Snow in time. In other words, he didn't have Chain Link on for the toggle to trigger effects. Because at any point in time, when a summon happens, when a card is activated, something will prompt you to trigger. Obviously, if the card cannot prompt you to trigger like a Dark Ruler, it will not ask you. But the moment I summoned the Kaiju, he could have been prompted by the game if he had toggle on. Do you want to trigger Snow? Yes, he would have responded to it, summoned the Snow back onto the field, and then that's it. But now only after the Dark Ruler resolves, look what happens. So now Dark Ruler resolves, and now he realizes, oh flip, okay, let me now get Fairy to Stone effect, because now obviously now you can see, okay, all my negates are gone. Let me at least turn off the spells, so at least you won't really have much to do. Because remember, at this point he doesn't know what I'm playing. So he banishes the field, and then now he gets Fairy Snow. So now I start playing now. So the only real disruption is the Meta Noise. So I'm gonna try and bait it out so I can go into a synchro, right? So I discard Mandarin. I keep Springo in hand because obviously it's going to be a special summon, right? He actually uses it quite early, so it makes sense because I'm going to go into a Synchro 10, so, or potential Link. So he said, no, we don't want that. Then we go Fusion Summon. You'll shuffle back 3 monsters, including my Aqua monster for some reason. And then you'll go into Kaleido. Kaleido's going to spin back the token. The token is not doing anything on the field. And that was his second mistake, right? So his first mistake was not chaining Snow in time to react to, okay, once the Kaiju was summoned, protect the floodgate. That's number one. Number two, he spun back the wrong Ice Jade card because the Ice Jade token was not doing anything. The main impactful card was actually the Ron Adrian, because remember, it's flip face down. But if for some reason I have opportunity to flip it face up, it's still going to be active on the field. So remember that for later. And then you'll see now that I control Marince's monster, I can summon Trickstar Aqua Angel. So that's the beauty of this card. So it picks up, okay, Marince's monsters on the field, I can summon. I'm going to use Sea Angel. I triggered the effect to look at the hand just to make sure, okay, nothing funny. We know it's a tortoise, we're just confirming it. We add dive, and then we pretty much go in a setup which basically kills the board. So I go for an enemy. For an enemy is going to be reborning the blue tank. There was already a blue tank in the grave. Remember, this is the second blue tank that was milled. So you notice there are 2 blue tanks. So I milled the other one. Now I'm reborning the second one. Blue tank is going to send Seahorse. Now blue tank is going to activate when it's sent to Vera for link material. It's going to activate a Marince's card. For a triangle is going to be summoned. Let's see what we get. Same with for an enemy, add back the Spring Girl. Spring Girl is very important in this combo because remember, for going second, you want to make sure that you have a play into board wiping the field and securing follow-up. We get Seal Horse, which is nice. We're going to use Spring Girl's effect, banish the enemy, reborn, use Mandarin's effect, trigger to summon itself because there's 2 or more link monsters to an empty zone. Then you're going to go Blue Slug again. Blue Slug, add back a Marince's card, which is going to be obviously a monster. Discard the 1 Seahorse, add Wave for follow-up. Always think about the follow-up. Now you've secured your follow-up. Now let's try and board wipe the field. We're going to go Bubble Reef. Bubble Reef is going to discard the 2nd Seahorse, revive back for an enemy. And remember, you notice the Ron Adrian is still on the field. And also, I have not used spells yet at all, because remember, while Fairy to Snow is on the field, I never use spells. So this is literally without using spells, I'm still able to clear the board. So imagine now, it would have been difficult if this was still in play. The Baron, the Rukalos, the Appaloosa would be very difficult. Yes, I could chain block, but it would be very tricky though. So you see how the impact it makes when you've cleared the board stage and you've assessed no, but the only major thing is just playing around spells, which is perfectly fine. As you can see, I'm doing all of this perfectly fine without spells. Then now I use the Zealantis effect, and remember, we are waterlocked because we used Core Anemone's effect earlier to revive Blue Tank. And for those who don't know, Core Anemone says if you summon a monster to its zone, you cannot spell summon for the rest of the turn except water monster. That is you, not the player, that like not your opponent, it's me that's summoning. So even Zealantis, when it says banish all monsters on the field, then special summon those monsters that were banished by this effect as possible. So if it's going to attempt to summon, but now it will check wait, but now me as the player who activate the effect is locked into summoning water monsters only for the rest of the turn. So even though the whole field comes back, only non-water monsters do not come back. So if you're a water monster, you come back. If you're non-water, you don't come back. So including Kaleido Heart, Baron de Fleur, Apollo USA, Fairy Tale Snow. Ron Adrian comes back because she's a water. Rukalos comes back because she's also a water. But note, Rukalos can be flipped face down. I can flip this face up, and this will be relevant. So you see, banish the field. Rukalos comes back, and now rearranging the field. As we know before, with Zealantis combos, you do this as a standard, right? Now we do this on purpose. We make sure that there is a co-link always between Zealantis and the monster you summon, because we could have made a link 3 also. As long as there's a code link, because you want to make sure that the follow-up is not going to be good. Because at the moment, they've used all their resources. They purposely kept their forest monsters in the grid because they want to make sure, okay, there's follow-up next turn. But we want to make sure there is no follow-up next turn, because if you deal with it, there's literally a tortoise in his hand and he can't do anything. He has 20 cards left. I doubt he has anything resourceful there. But notice I didn't use spells yet. Now there's no spellcaster. Now I can use Marincia's Dive. Now Marincia's Dive is now going to revive back a level 3. Why a level 3? Well, what was I going to do earlier in the turn? Use a level 3, tune with a level 7 to make a level 10. So now it's like free real estate. So now I can do that. And now I can go into Give Me an Adrian. And the reason I'm going to Give Me an Adrian is because Rukalos has a high defense. So it's 2500 defense. So this will kill it. And then look, they have 4000. But note, because of Dark Ruler no more, the other effect of Dark Ruler is I take the opponent takes no further battle damage. But I'm not worried about battle damage. I'm worried about clearing the field, so that there's no possible way that there's follow-up for this person. Because right now, I have the best follow-up. So I'm still going to secure that. How do I do that? I got Marbled Rock, which makes my Marincia's Wave activatable. I can also recover a card back in the main phase 2. I'm going to pop the continuous trap and the field spell, and he realizes, no, I'm done. The game is literally done, because what is he going to draw that can out this current board? There's literally nothing. There's literally nothing. I can banish with Gimia. I can protect from battle with Marbled Rock, and I can also pop 2 cards with Zealantis. So how many disruptions that is? That is literally 3 disruptions, because Gimia is a disruption, Marincia's Wave is a disruption, and also Zealantis is pop 2. So it's potentially 4, but it's actually 3 off my follow. And I still have Coral Triangle engraved in case he clears my field. If a card gets banished, Gimia comes back. There's infinite follow-up for me. But all because of that one small window that that person had, not summoning Snow at that moment when the Kaiju was summoned. That changed the whole group. And the second part was obviously leaving the Ron Adrian on the field was also a mistake, because now it allowed me to at least clear the Rukalos. Because if I had destroyed the Rukalos, it would have reborn on the field, and that would have been a problem. So the only way to deal with the Rukalos was to make a at least 25 defense higher monster, and I did that. 3k attack is good enough. So I feel like that's what I thought I'll just add that in as a bonus, because I feel like that's a very good, important tip to note. If you are facing a board and you think, oh, but now it seems impossible, just play the game normally. If you got board breakers, use them, because trust me, your opponent may make a mistake somewhere. And that's why it takes a skillful duelist to understand those small little windows. If you identify them, capitalize them. I literally had a a stream where you can go look at it. I was playing against White Forest Centurion. The player literally summoned Centurion Auxilia in defense, but based on the damage calculation, if they had just summoned in attack position, that would have been game. Only to find on the next turn, I did the exact same thing that I did here. I board wiped this entire field, and then he had no follow-up. And then they screwed, because they just realized they did all of that just to, you know, think, okay, oh, I got the game under control? No. So it's not always that simple. So yeah, I thought I'll just throw that in as well. But yeah, that's just one of the additional things that I thought I'll just also add in as part of the analysis for the Duelist Cup so far. All right. So this is the second and final replay I'll be showcasing you guys. So as you can see, my hand is actually not that great because I only have one name, and the name unfortunately is Mandarin. However, I do have a Kaiju, I have Feather Duster, Cosmic Cyclone, as well as Marince's Wave. So actually, this hand is more like for going second, not even for going first, because going first, it's not really doing much. Especially if your opponent has hand traps and stuff, then it could be a problem. But in this case, if we were going second, this would have been great, but we're going first. So what do we make the best of it here? So Mandarin by herself is actually combo, but we just have to see how it's going to work, because at the moment we actually have Wave Search. If we didn't have Wave, then you actually have combo by discarding the Kaiju or any other water monster for that matter. So if you have Mandarin plus any water monster, you can pretty much have Link 4 plus Wave, and I'll show you how to do it. So you're going to go Mandarin first. He's going to use Scarecrow Cashier for some reason, whatever. So I thought I was playing Scarecrow, which is interesting, but okay, he activates that. Then you're going to go Sea Angel. Does he have an Ash? No, he doesn't. You get Dive. Dive, Mandarin, Reborn, Link off into core enemy. Notice the sequencing. Very important, the sequencing. Core enemy gonna revive the Sea Angel. Okay. And why do I do this? You see, look at the Mandarin's effect is triggering because there's a Link zone that's empty that is pointing to the left. So if you had summoned, let's say, Blue Slug, then you can't trigger Mandarin's effect because there's nothing pointing to an empty zone. So it literally says, if you control 2 Marince's monsters and discards in your hand or grave, you target a water link monster you control. So it doesn't necessarily be a link Marince's monster, it can be any water link monster. First summon this card to a zone that monster points to. So there has to be an empty zone. So that's why if you have Mandarin, never go for Blue Slug first. Always go for Sea Angel, because Sea Angel can reborn the Mandarin using the dive by searching it, and then you can obviously do this play because of that. So this is already, can you see? If you have a water monster to discard, this is already a full combo already, because as you can see, because I already have Wave already, I'm going to link off immediately into Blue Slug. And then I'm going to go into now link 3 or a triangle. I'm going to add back the dive for follow-up. That's what you always do. Always make sure you secure a follow-up. So notice here, I'm not going to be searching anything, but if I didn't have Marince's Wave, I would have discarded a water monster to search Wave. But in this case, I didn't have to, so I have it already. Then you're going to go into Bubble Reef, and you see this is full combo. So despite Mandarin only, you basically had everything still. And in addition to that, you have Cosmic Cyclone. Then Standby Phase and then trigger Bubble Reef to draw an Ash. So another disruption. So at the moment, we have Monster Negate, we have Ash, we potentially summon from the deck, adding a card. We also have Cosmic Cyclone to play around stuff. So let's see what they're going to do. They're going to go Format Skipper. Now, for those who have been playing Marince's for a while, this was the original combo we used to do before Coral Triangle was existing, right? Because remember, if this was in existence when Coral Triangle was around, you can't be able to search Wave at all. Because why? Format Skipper is a light monster. So even though it can change its attributes to a Marincess monster, the fact that you had summoned a non-water means you cannot activate her effect at the time, but this was before the support came. So people were running Foreman Skipper in their deck and adding Scripton as well. Because it is a Cyberse, but this was also basically one card combo as well. So not too bad. So we're obviously going to waive that because we don't want them to revealing Scareclaw stuff and whatever, but they eventually do it anyway. So we negate that. They go into Lightheart. Lightheart is going to try and add the field spell, the Primitive Planet, and we say no. Because if they have it already, they should play it. If they play it, we have Cosmic Cyclone. So either way, we are covered. Right, so we're unaffected. We have Cosmic Cyclone, then have Codebreaker Virus Swordsman. To just link it off away, that's fine. Just to get the Foreman Skipper triggered. And then they go into Parallel Exceed. I'm like, okay, interesting. But then here's the mess up that they made. They triggered Foreman Skipper's effect to add a level 5 or higher Cyberse from your deck to your hand. But now, I thought they were playing Scripton or whatever, but it seems like they are not. Because remember, Parallel Exceed by default is a level 8. So now you've kind of messed up the combo for Parallel Exceed because now it must summon from the deck. And remember, Parallel Exceed is limited to 2. So how are you now summoning the other copy? Because now you've added the card you're supposed to summon. So they should have realized, oh wait, flip, I'm only playing 2 Parallel Exceed, so I should not trigger Foreman Skipper's effect because yes, I have linked. So I could have summoned another Parallel Exceed from the deck, but now they've messed it up. So you see, that's a huge misplay on their end. Because if you know you only play 2 of, and the card that you are running will search that monster that you want to have in your deck, they'll not trigger that one. Because now this is what happened. Now you see they added the card that they were supposed to summon from the deck, and they messed up. So anyway, they go into Codebreaker Virus Berserker. So it's like a mini Codebreaker engine in a way. They target a Scareclaw, summon in defense. They use the Virus Breaker's effect to destroy my Cosmic Cyclone, which is whatever. But then they go into Access Code. Okay, Access Code, interesting. Mind you, I'm unaffected, by the way. He's gonna attempt it, doesn't work. I gain attack. Now it goes to battle. 1500, not too bad. And this is the end phase. So now, at the moment, he's got nothing on the field that is worth disrupting at all. Access Code doesn't do anything on its own. There's nothing in the grave that is of concern because he doesn't control a Scareclaw, so this doesn't actually do anything the Scareclaw arrival. So I don't know what else is in his hand, but I have a stacked graveyard because I have Coral Triangle for follow-up, and I potentially could draw another Marincess name or whatever. So we'll see what we get for turn. Okay, and now we draw Fiscalis. So now, remember I told you guys there's so many OTK lines you can do, and the easiest one will be to start with the Coral Triangle and Grave because that will give you a link 2 and a link 1. Then you can use the link 2 to revive back a link. But the problem is, you see at the moment I don't have any other links because I banished the Blue Slug earlier. So that's the only problem with starting with Mandarin, is that you don't really have another Marincess to revive after using Coral Triangle's effect, because I can't revive back Babaroot because unfortunately it has too much attack for core enemy to summon. So what is the next OTK that I can do if I don't have that available? What's in my hand right now? So you can see I have Dive, which I got from follow-up. Feather Dust is not relevant here. I have a Kaiju and I have Scallops. So remember I told you the basic combo is normally you will have Mandarin, Spring Girl, or Blue Tank plus Dive or Field Spell. That's 2-card OTK line. But now this one is a 3-card OTK line because you're gonna have a Kaiju plus Fiscalis, Gazellima, Seahorse, or not even or plus Dive or Field Spell. So that's the 3-card OTK line you can do. You can also achieve the same thing, Fiscalis plus any Marincess monster, right? Because remember, the summon any Marincis. So Pescalis plus any Marincis monster plus the same combination of dive or field spell also gives you the same OTK line as well. But in this case, we have a Kaiju. So what do you do if you have a Kaiju and this monster? This is like what you do. You give the Kaiju to your opponent, of course. You give it to them. Then you're going to go Pescalis, normal summon. Go into Sea Angel, right? And the reason why you go into Sea Angel is because you always leave the Link 1 Loose Slug for last. Always do that. Because that's for the end. Because remember, your main thing is you want to resolve. You want to make sure you have at least 8,000 damage minimum. The keyword is minimum. So this Kaiju will come in relevant because when we use the Zealantis' effect later on, it's going to come back to our field. Then we need something else to push up the damage. So I'll show you exactly what you need to do there. Get the field spell or the missing, or you basically get the missing piece that you don't have. So if you have field spell, you get dive. If you have dive, get field spell. So you get the missing piece. Okay? Get blue tang. Always get blue tang. And always check if you have a spring girl or not. If you don't have a spring girl, get spring girl in the graveyard. Okay? You're gonna get for an enemy ×2 because you run 2 copies in the deck, of course. You'll trigger obviously blue tang's effect to activate hopefully a water monster, which you do. I'm gonna get the water monster. Okay. Then we're gonna revive back the Sea Angel, link off into Marble Drop again. So don't recall, triangle's already in the grave, so you can't do that again. Use core enemy, add back Spring Girl. Okay. Use the effect again. Pescalis. Okay. Use Spring Girl's effect to banish the link 2. So here, I did it slightly different, but normally what you would do, right? The end result is you must have a link 4 plus a Marincis monster that's not a link. So I'll say it again. The end result is you must have a link 4 plus a Marincis monster that's not a link. So a non-Marincis link non-link Marincis monster. So here I decided to banish for an enemy, but you could have banished Pescalis as well. Either way, because the main thing you do this is to get enough material to make a link 4 play. Plus, you also added a Spring Girl in the previous turn to discard or whatever. So you need that. Okay. So my suggestion is always do it like this to be on the safe side. You banish a link 2, then it's fine. You summon this, you go into the link 4, specifically Bubble Reef. So you notice I have 2 copies of Bubble Reef. Most people are playing 1. Now, unfortunately, for my OTK lines to work, you must have 2 copies of Bubble Reef. You don't need to have 3, but you need to have 2 because one is going to be used for the standard combo and the other one's going to be used for follow-up. And this is the case of follow-up because this is going to revive back one of your banished Marincis monsters. So having 2 will come up more often than not. I will discard, revive back a non-linked Marincis monster. Remember I said what? For the non-standard OTK lines, this is the end board you need to have because you have a Kaiju on your opponent's field that you gave to them. So by doing this, now you're going to go into Zealantis, and I think you guys know what's going to happen from here. Okay? So when Zealantis is going to resolve, remember, monsters on the field are going to get banished, and then they get special summoned back to the owner's field. This is owned by me, so it comes back to my field. So that's what we want. So we're going to trigger the effect, everything goes back, and then now we do the same thing like before. Anytime you resolve Zealantis, put it behind an extra monster zone to set up the co-link. You're going to bring back the Kaiju, and you're going to revive back Mandarin. Now you think, okay, how is this OTK? Because you only have 4.8 damage. Well, remember, I think I said this in my early guide, that Zealantis plus a link 1 with 3 equips is always going to be 6,000 damage minimum. Because why? A link 1 with 3 equips is going to be 3,500, and then your Zealantis is going to be 2.5, so that's 6,000. But you obviously need 8,000 damage to secure lethal damage. So you need that additional 2k coming from somewhere, and that's where the kaiju comes in. So all we need to do now is link off the Mandarin or the non-linked Marincis monster to link 1 Blue Slug. Then once you've done that, then you've achieved the combo. Then you add back, you do all of that stuff, and then you equip, and then look at the situation now. So after all of that, you've got 6k damage minimum, but now you've got this additional 2.2 damage because of the kaiju. So now you have 8.2, so guess what? Now you have equal damage. So you see, it's not to say that every time forward triangle is going to be the effective way to OTK, because if you have a Marincis monster in your graveyard already, other than the link monster, then you can definitely go forward triangle first, and it would have worked the same way. The only difference is the kaiju will not be necessarily used, but you can probably give it to them just for extra damage, because obviously the monster comes back to your field anyway for more damage. But in this case, the better situation was going for this line, because this line actually was enough for lethal already. And then you see 8.2, and then you go from there. And then that's it. So this duel was more to showcase like how do you know when to OTK and by which line do you go by? Because most people think, oh, use forward triangle, get back the links and whatever, but no. The problem is there's no real follow after that, right? And you could say, oh, but I could have, normal summon Pescalis. Yes, I could have done that, but you don't want to actually waste your normal summon for, because you notice here, yes, I could have done that, but then I wanted to just show you there's different ways you can OTK, especially when the board set is very empty like that and there's no other potential disruptions as well. That's the other ways you could have done that, playthrough. But I think it's quite important to understand that you could have done that with any of those monsters I talked about: Pescalis, Basilima, Mandarin. Any of those monsters could, not Mandarin, Pescalis, Basilima, and Seawolves. Any of those monsters in combination with the kaiju and dive or field spell will work. So now, how did I know all of this? Because I obviously practiced this in developing obviously this OTK line. Like, it's not like people thought about it. I actually literally I think I was one of the few people that thought about this, and obviously now people think it's crazy. It's not a crazy combo, it's very straightforward. You just have to know exactly what sequencing you have to do, because just like with every combo, you have to know the right sequencing, but also you can also have flexibility as well. So because of that, I know exactly, okay, based on that, I'm more flexible. I know exactly when and when not to OTK, or when or not I can attempt it. Because people will say, oh, but it has to be an empty field. It doesn't have to necessarily be empty. It can be a full field or whatever, you can still do it. And it's minimal engine you have to use. It's totally non-engine. The only exception in this combo is, the only non-engine here is going to be Zealantis and the kaiju. That's the non-engine Marincis that you have. But the other standard OTK line is purely just Marincis engine, and that's the beauty of it. If you add in additional extenders as well, then it makes your engine even more stronger to OTK, because you want to finish games as quick as possible. If you can see this is a definitive OTK, why are you going to go through other combos, try and make another towers again where you can literally just OTK them naturally? So that's, for me, is always a priority on the follow-up. Or not even on the follow-up. If I can see, okay, my hand is good, I can play through, I can break the board, simplify the game state, then you can go from there. So if you want to see more combos like this, please do let me know in the comments, and also let me know, like, even by leaving a like, also to say, okay, if you want to see more advanced combos showing other extenders or any other lines of play, because there's many ways to identify how do you OTK, where not to OTK. So I hope this was very useful and insightful. And that's just, again, from the Duelist Cup that I played just recently, and specifically the Duelist Cup as of December 2024. But yeah, this is definitely an example of some of the things that you could think about when you're playing a deck like Marincis. Because I feel like so many times when you play a deck, there's always that potential that you don't know about. And this is the thing that you should know as a Marincis player specifically. If you've been playing it often, you should be knowing these lines, because so many times you'll be like, oh wait, I actually could have won this game had I known this. You don't want to be that person that, oh wow, I actually had game if I actually just did this. Because so many times I watch so many games, and then I see, oh, but this actually was a line here because the game state was like this, or they could have done it this way, and they didn't say it, like, oh, okay, I could have done it that way. So yeah, don't be that person that now just throws away the games because now you didn't see that, oh, there was a line here or not. So it's not just making towers and that's it. You are literally better than that. So yeah, that's just like I said, some insight from me. I hope you enjoyed it. And yeah, this is Diamond Boss signing out, and until next time, peace.